Hello, and thank you for watching this July 20th weather update, brought to you by Agrible, the makers of Morning Farm Report. My name is Eric Snodgrass, and I'm a senior atmospheric scientist and co-founder of Agrible. Let's start by looking at last week's precipitation across the United States. This map shows the percentage of normal rain for the last 7 days. Beginning first in the Corn Belt, we can see the impact of the large squall line from early last week that originated in Minnesota and blasted through parts of Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, and Kentucky. Here's a look at the position of the squall line as it evolved last week. This was one impressive, long-lived event. This storm system was the beginning of a 3-day severe thunderstorm event that produced nearly 1,600 reports of severe weather. Each blue dot on these graphs represents the location of either a reported wind speed in excess of 58 miles an hour or a report of wind damage from straight-line winds. We can see that from the 12th through the 14th, a significant portion of the Corn Belt experienced severe weather conditions, especially from strong straight-line winds. However, most of the rain that fell from this event was welcomed, with the exception of the flooding rains that fell in Indiana and Kentucky. In addition to this, multiple times last week, a band of showers and storms developed along a boundary that stretched west to east from Kansas to Illinois, bringing additional rain to many saturated locations. Texas and Oklahoma were rain-free, but the southwest United States did see surges of monsoonal moisture, producing numerous thunderstorm events and some localized flooding. However, most importantly, it has been raining in Southern California. After a week where we saw several wildfires in Southern California, the remnants of Hurricane Dolores brought significant rainfall to the region. Given that this is typically the heart of the dry season in Southern California, rain like this is very rare. To prove my point, on Sunday night the Angels game was rained out, the first time this has happened since 1995. Last week, most of the Corn Belt dodged significant heat stress, and fortunately, overnight low temperatures were cooler than forecast, which is excellent for the corn crop. Here's the average temperature anomalies for the first 18 days of July, and we can easily see that it has been cooler than average across a large section of the Corn Belt. The only region that has been significantly warmer than normal was the northwestern part of the United States. As we move into the forecast for this week, we need to be watching for heat stress across the Corn Belt during pollination. Here's the forecast high temperature for Monday, and it is clear that the dangerous heat stays well south of the Corn Belt. Monday night and Tuesday morning, the temperatures drop into the 60s or lower for most states in the Corn Belt. And Tuesday's high temperatures keep 90s pretty far south for this time of year. Same story holds true for Wednesday morning, as lows in the 60s spread throughout most of the Corn Belt. And Wednesday's highs are almost a direct copy from Tuesday, which means we will make it through the first part of this week without any heat stress across the Corn Belt. However, as we can see this animation of temperatures for this Thursday through Saturday, current forecast models do build some heat across the Great Plains that pushes east with lower 90-degree temperatures. However, our best guidance at this point suggests these temperatures will stay below 95 degrees Fahrenheit for most of the Corn Belt. All of this bodes very well for the 2015 corn crop. Turning our attention to rainfall for the first half of this week, here's an animation of the model-simulated radar imagery from twisterdata.com. For the first time in a long time, Illinois and Indiana are forecast to stay relatively dry through Wednesday. The thunderstorm complex that was in central Nebraska on Sunday night and Monday morning moves southeast and dissipates somewhat before a second round of storms develops on Tuesday morning and pushes east through Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Missouri. In terms of weekly rainfall in the central United States, this region is likely to experience the greatest amounts with 2 to 3 inches possible. Here is the 5-day accumulated precipitation graphic showing that heavier rain event midweek. However, a lot of drying across the Corn Belt is expected this week. Remember, though, that summertime precipitation is dominated by convective thunderstorm events, and this forecast can change very quickly. As a side note, as a few drier days are forecast this week across parts of the Corn Belt, many farms may schedule aerial applications. Current forecast models suggest that Monday will be quite windy in the northern parts of the Corn Belt, with near-surface winds in excess of 20 miles per hour. However, after Monday, wind speeds will remain rather light for a good portion of each day for most of the Corn Belt through midweek. Looking into next weekend, Here are the 6 to 10 day precipitation and temperature outlooks. The South and the Great Plains have a higher than average probability of seeing warmer than normal temperatures, while Texas through the Intermountain West are forecast to see drier than average conditions. For longer term planning, here is one forecast model called the CFSV2, its solution for the air temperature anomalies or differences from average in August. Several long-range forecast models in addition to the CFSV2 are suggesting that the Great Plains might be 1 to 2 degrees cooler than average for the month. Forecasting precipitation on long timescales is challenging, but here's the CFSV2's forecast for August precipitation anomalies. The forecast calls for wetter than average conditions in the Rocky Mountains and Great Plains and parts of the Midwest, while the South dries out somewhat compared to normal. While this model may be overdoing it a bit, we need to watch for this pattern closely as soybeans mature through August and we start to prepare for the harvest in the following weeks. As always, we at Agrible will bring you the latest and best weather forecast information through our morning farm report so that you can efficiently plan your operations. We thank you for your attention and hope you look forward to our next weather video update. Thank you.